Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It'll be greatly appreciated from the bottom of my heart. It's Mary Jane. Let's talk about Southern Charm, the reunion part one. Like, OMG, well, we're going to just dog out Craig. We're just going to talk about Craig. We're just going to call him out. We're going to make fun of him like they did all seasons, not all the previous season too as well. As like, they don't have a bad guy, they don't have anybody that has really that many flaws and people don't agree with. So it's like, oh, let's take it out on Craig. Let's talk about Craig. Let's talk about his faults. Let's talk about everything that's wrong with Craig. I didn't like that too much because you guys know I do like Craig, but he does have some faults. We all do. And we see Thomas is not there. Mr. Thomas Revenue is not there because of the allegations. And he has his lawyer has Andy read a statement saying that they both agreed, Bravo and Thomas Revenue agreed not to be at the reunion because he's under investigation, and he feels like he's going to be fully vindicated and he'll return at once. So Thomas is not there. So there's really something going on. And Bravo ain't trying to be up in this mess and trying to have Thomas all over the place because it's the Me Too movement going on. And even Andy mentioned a Me Too movement, but he didn't mention the name of the Me Too movement. He said just what's going on today in the women's thing. Nobody want to say the Me Too movement. I'll say it. Me too, me too. And also, it seems like just the next episode, part two is going to be lit. This is when we're going to have, Chelsea going at Austin, and, they're going to be spilling some beans. And then we're going to have Ashley come out. Boy, she got confidence. She got self-esteem. She got them drugs. She got something to, actually come on the stage, and she's defending Thomas. And it's like, I don't know if Thomas forced her to do this, if she really wanted to do this, and she want to stick up for her man because, she's living a life of luxury and she want to continue it. So she has to pull her keep and defend her man on this show. But it also seems like everyone is really in agreement that Thomas has another side. There's another part of him that is like the Tasmanian devil. And they all agreed upon this except for, Austin. Austin right now, he's still with, Thomas and JD. Like, he's defending them. He don't want to go against them, but he's not really feeling Craig at all. So, if they all know that Thomas has this side and he's very manipulative, he's very controlling, and he can pull the wool over everybody's eyes and pull the wool over their eyes, even though they know him for years, that kind of sounds suspect. But why wouldn't they think that he is not pulling the wool over Ashley's eyes? She may be older, she may be a hospice nurse, but it seems like, he's pulling the wool over her eyes. And they also mentioned that you sound just like Kathryn. You even look like Kathryn used to look because, Ashley looks really skinny. She looks frail. I was watching her walk in. I was like, damn, she got mad skinny. She was skinnier than the season or whatever. Nothing's wrong with being skinny, you know what I mean? But it doesn't look healthy, and her voice is still hoarse. Remember when Kathryn's voice was hoarse? So, has Thomas introduced Ashley to narcotics? Allegedly. So we'll find out if that actually happened. But it was like, let's get Craig out the way. And, Naomi getting a new nose job. Like, oh shit. She got a nose job. And we have Kathryn. She got a boob job. Like, OMG. So it seems like Kathryn's feeling confident and all that other good stuff. So let's get on Kathryn's outfit. Her hair looked nice. It was a nice, like, color. I like the red. It was kind of dark and with like a chestnut brown. It was kind of like high up, like from the 70s to the 60s kind of hairstyle, like an Italian kind of look type of deal. And then she had on like a disco prom, showgirl type of dress on too as well. The color, the material, the fabric of her dress was beautiful. I just didn't like the gold things on the shoulders. The gold sequence of glitter on the shoulders, around the waist, and around the wrist. I did not like that. That just made the dress look kind of, I wish it was a different kind of sequence, but the material looked nice, and she was showing the girls out there, and Craig absolutely looked fabulous. As always, he dressed well. His outfit kind of complimented Kathryn's outfit, and his outfit complemented, Cameron's outfit that he was sitting in between. So, because he has pink, and his pink little handkerchief actually matched, Kathryn's dress, and then his white matched, Cameron's hot pink dress. Cameron's hot pink dress was nice. It did look good. I like her curls. It was very soft, I did like, her natural makeup made it look very natural. And also Kathryn's makeup looked very natural too as well. Also, Naomi's makeup looked natural, and, Chelsea's makeup looked natural too as well. They had they didn't really go out, like overboard with the reunion type of outfit. They actually like dressed like they was going to church for Easter Sunday, or they was going to a sip and see, or they was going to brunch, or they was going to like a little event that's in the South that's outdoors or maybe indoors. But they didn't overdo it. Craig looked nice. His shoes looked nice too as well. I didn't like Cameron's shoes. I didn't like her shoes at all, and I did not like Chelsea's shoes. Cameron's dress was nice, simple, and plain. Easter outfit, and also Chelsea outfit was nice, but she had like a little design where you can see like a little sexiness. I did like her earrings too as well. It did look nice. Her makeup looked nice. It was soft. She looked nice, but they didn't overdo it. Everyone, were very subtle. Very, very, very subtle. Only person that wasn't subtle was Kathryn. She came out with a bag. She wanted to let you guys know that she's the new improved Kathryn with a new improved cell phone. She don't got that beat up Apple phone. I was like, I would always, put that picture in my slideshow. I didn't talk about it, I don't think, but I would always put it in my slideshow. And so then you have, Naomi. Naomi dress is very plain, very simple. Really didn't matter what she had on, because it just didn't compliment her, because, she's one of the younger members of the cast, and I think she could have wore something a little bit, not out there, but something that shows her age a lot, that she is a lot younger. But her hair and her makeup was fabulous. She did look nice. Her nose job, I was like, oh shit, I didn't have a problem with her nose before, but when they showed the slideshow, the pictures of her before nose and after, it looks nice. They did a good damn job, and it is what it is. And so everyone's just talking about, Kathryn's boobs. She's not saying that she got them, but she got something new. And then let's talk about Shep. Shep looked nice. His outfit complimented, what's her name? Naomi. The gray on gray play looked nice, but I did not like Craig's suede brown shoes. I think he should have went with a gray or a darker color shoes that wasn't brown. And his facial hair was very new. He kind of looked more like well mature. And Austin, his outfit looked nice too as well. Austin looked like he was from the Beverly Hill Boys. Like, I don't know, he was from Leave It to Beaver. Austin looked like he was on, All My Children, or As the World Turns, like he belongs on a soap opera. And his glasses, I guess he wanted to stand a little bit more with his glasses, but his hair did look nice. He had a different type of hairstyle. I did like Austin's shoes. His shoes was very nice. So moving on from that, Andy lets us know that Thomas Revenant is not going to be here. He's out the picture, but Ashley will be coming. I was like, OMG. And so Andy's asking everybody, what do they feel about, Thomas being accused of the rape charges and everything like that. And everybody was like, well, they really didn't want to speak about it. Kathryn really didn't want to speak about it. Cameron really didn't want to speak about it. Shep didn't really want to speak about it, but he was like, well, we know, Thomas has two sides to him, so you never know what you're going to get. And plus, what we seen this season, you guys all see that, and it's like, damn, Shep, you didn't see that side of Thomas before, and I believe you have. I believe you mentioned it, and I believe you helped a young woman that Thomas was kind of like groping on. And Naomi didn't want to talk bad about Thomas. I think they still have some type of alliance with Thomas, but Cameron is done with her alliance with Thomas, and also Patricia is done with her alliance with Thomas. And then I also think that might make Whitney done with Thomas too as well. And Shep seems like he's kind of done with Thomas too as well. Shep seems like he's done. Austin seems like he still wants to lend out that olive branch to Thomas. But Andy was like, Kathryn, isn't Thomas accused of raping your nanny that you had for, and then Kathryn was like, yeah, I had the nanny, we had for 2 years. And it was just like, yeah, so with that situation, I know it's a sticky situation for Kathryn to actually, say something about, but I don't think I would be trying to give Thomas advice or trying to help him out with his relationship with Ashley or trying to warn him about Ashley's a gold digger, she's this, she's that. But I think, she's doing that because Ashley is possibly in and is around her children. So she's trying to let Thomas see the light that this is not a good woman to have around my children. And then on the other hand, there's nothing that Kathryn could really do to tell Thomas what to do with his life and who to have in his life. Maybe one time he got rid of a nanny that, Kathryn wasn't getting along with. But her knowing the nanny, and her and that nanny was cool, very cool. I don't think I would have been reaching out to Thomas trying to warn him about Ashley, or she spending up his money or anything like that, especially if I had to get rid of a nanny I had for 2 years, because, or she had to step down and leave because, she's accusing my baby's father of raping her. So, and Andy was like, so, like, what's up with that? Like, don't you was cool with the nanny. I remember you guys filming together. So it was kind of that situation where Kathryn really didn't want to talk about it that much, but she said she's going to wait until, everything comes to fruition. And then he says that Ashley's going to be joining, as Shep said, was like, yeah, I'm not going to say anything bad about, I'm not going to come after her, we're not going to do anything wrong, and we're not going to execute her or whatever. And so that's when Andy said, well, she didn't call you a bad mother. I was like, oh, Andy throwing shots in there. And so they look at Kathryn. And so now we get into the girl power situation. A question was asked, like, these girls really came together. It was like girl power, girl this, girl that. And Naomi feels like, yes, we came together, but it was all due to Kathryn, because Kathryn, reached out the olive branch to us too as well, and she kept us in her life. She kept us informed, and she wanted us to be together too as well. And so we all formed a really big bond over the summertime. But it was really Kathryn that, helped us with that. And so Kathryn's about to say, I think the man that we have dated and, basically making a bad decision. Then that's when Craig jumps in. Craig was like, what you mean bad decision? Like, all this girl power is not needed. It's not good, because all you guys dated good guys. They might have turned into assholes at the end, but me and Austin was good guys. Tell me anything that me and Austin did was wrong. And here goes Shep, because Shep is always throwing stones at Craig. And it was like, well, you told Naomi you can talk now, shut up and be quiet. Like, there's plenty of things that Craig has said to Naomi, but there's plenty of things Naomi has said to Craig too as well. It just seems like they had a really combative relationship, and they wasn't mature enough to actually work things out, actually listen to each other, because you have Craig, on the other hand, deflecting and coming up with theories in his head how it should be, and not seeing things at fault. You got Naomi feeling like she got to be his mother, his brother, his sister, his father, and his warden, and tell him what to do, and he better do this and do that and do this. So it just wasn't a good mix. But they traveled the world together. Naomi still doesn't work. She hasn't worked. She was going to school when she was with Craig, and Craig is actually finally an attorney. Supposedly, this is what he's telling us. He's actually an attorney, and he's doing pro bono work, and he's doing work once a week somewhere at some community center. I don't know if it's a community center, somewhere. And so he actually fulfilled that, if that's actually true. They actually make fun of Craig and his pillows. And so, then they asked Cameron, who would you want your daughter to date, and this and that. That was on this panel, and she picked Austin. So I was surprised that Cameron picked Austin, because with Austin and, Chelsea right now, they don't have a friendship no more. And this whole season, it was all about the friendship. And we see part 2 is going to be them going back and forth at each other very negatively. And for Cameron to pick Austin, I was like, whoa. I know Chelsea was like, why did you say his name? She didn't say Craig. Of course she wasn't going to say Shep, but she said Austin. And then that's when Craig was like, well, he's the only person up here that was dated 2 years old. I was like, okay, come on. And then, so they was talking about the girl power situation. They was also talking about, the barbecue at Shep House, how everyone went against JD. The ladies went against JD, especially Naomi. And how that situation went down. And now Liz and Naomi are actually not talking. They don't have a conversation anymore. They haven't spoken to each other. And this is where, Liz, tweeted that, Naomi, she violated my privacy, this and that, telling all my business. I thought she was my friend to do this on a public platform and all that other blah, blah, blah. It's in the slideshow. And so she's very upset. And so then Naomi responds to her tweet, well, we had this conversation. We talked about it. And it's too bad that, I guess she's in fear that she can't really step up and say what really happened. So then this is when Naomi says that me and, Liz had a conversation, and we talked about things that I'm probably going to say, and we laughed about it. And then, that I'm going to say when JD comes around, because Liz wasn't really filming because she's in dire straits. Supposedly JD's stealing her money. That's what Chelsea said. So she was going to be a voice for Liz because Liz wasn't going to be filming much. So, and her and Liz agreed upon this, because I was just like, the way Naomi's telling all of Liz's business, I would be upset. But Naomi's actually saying, and I mentioned this in my past videos, Naomi's actually saying that they talked about this. They discussed the things that she was going to say was going to be funny, how to get JD when he starts to talk negative or leading this narrative that, you know, Liz is not a good wife or a good mother or a good this or whatever. So she was like, it's very unfortunate, but JD's very, you know, controlling. He's manipulating, and she's afraid and she's intimidated by him. So I was like, damn, she said a whole lot. And, you know, so that's the speaking. That's when Chelsea was like, we know what was going on with JD. JD at the bars, late night with the women and all these young girls and this and that. And then there was the question asked, you know, do you think JD is kind of like shady or whatever, or showing some type of different behavior that's not really acceptable for a married man? I'm adding that onto it because I can't remember the exact words. And, you know, the women agree, and I believe Shep agreed to as well, and I believe Craig agreed to. I could be wrong, but I know Austin did not agree. He's not agreeing. He's not on the train of anybody talking about bad about the other guys that are not here on the show. And so, you know, Naomi said that she hasn't talked to Liz and they're really not friends anymore, and she just feels like she's being intimidated. I was like, damn. Excuse me. So then moving on from that, we talk about, you know, Austin. Not Austin, but Craig and his, you know, pillow situation with Patricia. How, like, the pillow situation, him not meeting the deadline, him not getting the pillows done or whatever. And so Andy's calling him out on it because, you know, Craig is like, oh my God, no, I don't like deadlines. I don't like this and that. I didn't have an idea. Couldn't come up with one yet. I thought one was going to flop up into my head, but, you know, it didn't. So it's not really a big deal. It's not really no consequences. I didn't hurt anybody. And that's when Andy's like, what are you talking about? You lost a contract. You lost a deal. You lost employment. You lost work. You know, and it's your reputation too as well. You're supposed to be creating art and selling art and that type of business, but you're not even doing what you're supposed to do. And Craig is like, I don't know. You know, I don't believe in deadlines. I don't believe in this and that. So that's when the cast, you know, Naomi and Shep are like saying, what do you mean, you know, Naomi's like, what are you talking about deadline? This is the crazy things that you have in your head, that you make up these things to justify things that you do or not completing tasks or doing what you're supposed to do by coming up with things in your head that you think that are okay, that you think that are right, that really don't make sense, because we need deadlines. Just like you don't pay your taxes, you won't change your address, and the IRS keep coming and sending me letters and the mail, you mother sucker. You know, she wanted to cuss Craig out. But I like Craig, man, because Craig was there when nobody else was there for Kathryn. When Kathryn couldn't film with anybody else because they didn't want to film with her, be around her, Craig was always there, and he always stepped to Thomas. And he didn't play around. He wasn't scared, and people, they shied away from him too as well. At one point, they kind of like isolated Craig from the crew because he was coming after Thomas. It was even Cameron was telling him, be quiet, keep your mouth closed, don't say anything. Even Shep was telling him, just mind your business, dude. Let him do what he needs to do. And Craig didn't take that. Craig was like, nah, I'm sticking up for her. And that's what it was. And he didn't care how they judged him or how they picked on him. He didn't care. And that's one thing I do like about Craig, but he does care what they think sometimes, but I think he's building up the hysteria where he doesn't care. But there's some things that Craig that needs to care about, and be true to himself or what he wants to do. Just be real, be more real, Craig, you know, about, well, I'm afraid to practice law. I really don't want to be in a courtroom. I don't want to be bogged down with people's problems, you know, because that's energy, you know. Anyways, let's moving on from that. So then they started to crack about, you know, they started to talk about, you know, Craig's teddy bear that he gave to Cameron. Andy was like, I felt so bad, that teddy bear, everyone made fun of it. Yeah, because, you know, Cameron was like, it was a shitty teddy bear. He didn't finish the job, and he sees me, he gives me unfinished teddy bear. Like, come on, like, he could at least finish it. He's an attorney. Then Craig talked about, well, I couldn't sew in 3D. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. And all excuses. And this is one of the problems Naomi and a lot of people have with Craig, except for Kathryn, is his excuses. And and not holding himself up to be accountable, that okay, if you give me a shitty product, and and the thought was good, your gesture was good, it felt good, but you still handed me something shitty, and somebody would throw it in your face, so they just laughed at him. So sometimes Craig becomes the butt of the jokes because he do things that are kind of like off key. It almost seems like he have Asperger's or something. I know he has ADHD. It almost seems like he has Ashmonger's symptoms, something like that. It seems like Craig has, but we know Craig grew up, being like the A student, like, being just a brilliant student in school while growing up, and you've seen all these trophies that he had in his house, these awards, like, and he finished, even though he took some time off from law school, he ended up passing the bar exam, he ended up doing all that, and now he's an attorney. So we know Craig has it, just that having him being able to focus. But the one thing that the problem with Craig is he wanted to live like Shep, he wanted to live like Thomas Revenant, he wanted to live like JD when he first came, and I think that kind of like messed with his head, because he wanted to live the rich, famous life in Charleston and not having to work and have money, and he kind of was jealous of the other guys too as well. He was trying to fit into that life where he was partying and drinking every night and not having to carry him well, until reality hit. He lost his apartment and he needed money, but and the rest of the guys didn't have to work or do anything. So I think that's where it turned. So they made fun of the pillow. Cameron was like, he saw me a shitty pillow. What do you want me to do? They talk about the birthday cake, and Whitney came up with that idea. They just laugh at that pillowcase, and then Craig just gave them more ammunition, saying that, well, I try to justify things in my head to make it okay. So it makes sense when he talks about Naomi, talking about, Naomi's wrong, this and that, but he's justifying himself being right with the situation with Naomi when he's not 100% right, where Naomi's not 100% right too as well. So moving on from that situation, Craig, Craig. And so then, moving on from that, Craig, and they talk about Craig and Naomi having the tracker, and Craig was like, she's acting like, oh, it was the big, like, oh my God, I got a tracker on Craig. You go into his phone. He was like, that's such bullshit, because we had trackers on each other when we were dating, and yes, she turned hers off, so I thought mine would turn off, but she already had my location. See, she's fake. Like, he didn't say she was fake, but he was like, she's not really real. And she was like, no, I was just saying it to the girls that you could do this while he was sleeping, but it came off as Naomi was saying that this is what I did to Craig one night, not mentioning that her and Craig agreed to tracking each other. And then Shep was like, I don't care about the tracking. If you want to find me, you want to meet up with me, I'll buy you a drink, and I buy you a beer and a shot. And Austin was like, I'll look at it differently. And then that's when they get into the situation of talking about Naomi has a new boyfriend, she has a new bae, she has a new boo or whatever. He had a weird, funny name, so I don't know what his nationality is, and I didn't search it. Like, come on, I'm not gonna find out. Or maybe I will. So they have that situation, they have that go on, and with that situation, that's when Craig brings up, hey, listen, Naomi, you fake, you faking, because you be posting on Instagram that you happy and everything is all good with you and life is treating you well, but we know it's all not true and you always lying, this and that. And Craig was like, yeah, I did send you hateful, Instagram text messages because you got your new bae around my cat, Gizmo. And so they was like, oh no, Craig, you can't do that. Well, of course he's gonna be mad. Anybody, if he's attached, Craig is sensitive. He's attached to things. He's attached to objects. He's just attached. That's just Craig. And people will be upset if they seen some people, I wouldn't give a shit. Once it's over, it's over. You can have the dog, the cat, take pictures. I don't care what you do. You can go on hunts with the cat or the dog. But that's when, you let it go. You don't let somebody see you sweat, and he let Naomi see him sweat, and it was able to throw something else. Craig just give them ammunition to talk shit about him, and that's what they did the first part of the reunion. And so, he was like, also, Naomi, you're trying to funk like you happy and everything. She's like, I am happy. And they tried to say, like, would you and Craig get back together? Like, no, they're both happy. Craig says he hates Naomi. He don't want nothing to do with her no more. He's done, especially when she got that nose job. I knew the old Naomi was dead and gone. This is a new creature over here. And, he's just done it through. And she was like, I didn't look in the mirror and think I was ugly. I just wanted to change something about me. I was just like... And so then he also mentioned like you're not happy with your new boyfriend because you said the other day that you know that feeling that you get when you first meet somebody and you in like honeymoon land with the butterflies in your stomach when you're dating somebody new. Well, I don't feel that anymore. And supposedly she said this to Kathryn, and then Kathryn told Craig, because Craig and Kathryn are like this. Naomi could be cool if she went with Kathryn, but Craig always had Kathryn's back from Jump Street. So Kathryn told Kathryn told Craig, cause she know that they was gonna dog Craig out because the spot that Craig is in, Kathryn used to be in that spot. He's the outsider kinda now. And he looks so sad in that little clip I just seen him in. So, Craig was like, see, you're not happy. And then Naomi was like, who told you that? I would never say that I'm happy with my boyfriend. And then Craig looks at Kathryn, and Kathryn was like, well, yeah, you did say it. Well, and then Naomi was like, no, I didn't say that. It wasn't about, my new boyfriend. It was about my old boyfriend. It was about Craig. But, like, why would you be talking about Craig in that way when you have a new boyfriend? And so Kathryn was like, maybe I misunderstood. I don't give a shit. I don't care. And, so many different words but at least Naomi didn't call Kathryn a lie. She just tried to say, it's a correction. So now we'll see how that situation goes. So Craig kind of like proved his point that, she be lying on Instagram and she's faking the funk. She ain't as happy. And he feels like in his head they'll never find love like they used to have because they traveled the world together. They did this, they did that. But he better move on quick, fast, in a hurry. And they talk about Kathryn's job. Like, one of the questions, like, Kathryn, have you never been on an interview before? And it was like, yeah. Everybody was like, yeah, that interview was terrible. And people, I know that I talked about that interview. Like, damn, she's dumb as a bucket of rocks. Because that interview was so bad. And then you had, Cameron and Chelsea also co-signed that the interview was very hard at Gwen's because, you know them and they really put you on the spot. Come on, working at a clothing store, putting outfits together. But, see, they got her back. So that's nice that they got her back. And Kathryn was like, yeah, I skipped past that part, when I'm watching it back. And also now Kathryn is the grand ambassador of Gwen. So basically she promotes Gwen online. She is their online people. But, Kathryn used to be a model. So the pictures that she took look very nice. Kathryn looks like she has a spray tan or something going on. Or it could just be my perception of things. Everyone was like, that was cringe-worthy. And then we talk about Cameron and her difficulty with having a baby and possibly having postpartum depression and never being so clingy and so tight with the baby when she first had the baby, and just having that type of situation. And then people calling out Cameron as being like so detached. I felt that way about Cameron, like the way that she would like describe her baby, like go away, and like the way that she would just talk about the child. But I just felt like she was being candid, she was trying to be funny. But I guess people were like, no bitch, you can't be doing that, you can't be talking like that. So Cameron was like, I never got diagnosed, but I stopped breastfeeding. Some women support me for that, some women don't. She's like, it just made me feel down breastfeeding, it just sucked away my soul. My mental health is more important. Kathryn kind of co-signed it, but Kathryn said she immediately connected with her babies when she had them. And so we go through that situation with Cameron and Jason not actually being, so enthusiastic or so there for Cameron as, the baby's father or husband. And also we find out that I thought Jason was a doctor, but he's actually a anesthesiologist, which is, Cameron's husband. So we have that situation. And then, they ask, Kathryn, how does she deal with the situation now with, is she still taking a drug test and how's custody going? So Kathryn says she has joint custody, 50-50 custody. And on top of that, she's still taking a drug test. And Andy asks her if she regrets taking these drug tests and doing this, and allude to the situation of what's going on with Thomas, because, she should be able to ask for full custody. But I guess with these accusations, I think she can ask for it, but it might fall in her face because, Charleston is the good old boy system with, Thomas and his family. So I guess waiting for the outcome, and I believe Kathryn could possibly ask for full custody. And she also is very numb to the situation with Thomas, and all she wanted to do just like blend her family together, take photos and pictures and post them online and not have any drama. But she hasn't seen Ashley, she hasn't talked to Ashley, and she's basically numbness to Ashley. And then they also bring up, Thomas promising Kathryn the world, giving all his millions, all his support in the world, and he didn't. And she was basically naive, and she was basically taken advantage of, and she was 21 years old. And so with this situation, it also brings me back to Ashley. Like, Ashley's older, she's 33, but it seems like Ashley has really went downhill. Especially, did you see how skinny she looked? What is going on? She's really stressed out. And we find out that Ashley is not talking to, Patricia anymore, because Patricia ain't talking to Thomas anymore. She's done with him. So I wonder if Whitney is going to be done to as well. So, and then that's when Cameron, she starts her crying. She really regrets everything that she did to Kathryn, being the mean girl, being judgmental, not wanting anything to do with her. And she was also mean with her with, what's her name? Landon, and, she was basically believing everything that Thomas said. And so this is to say, even Cameron knows Thomas, and she's from Charleston, and she's a mature woman or whatever, but she believed Thomas. So this is the same situation that's going on with Ashley. She believes Thomas. Ashley family needs to come and try to save her and get her out the situation. Damn, this is almost 30 minutes. And almost it is 30 minutes. So it just seems like, it seems like they're going to attack Ashley, and I'm here for it. There's no problem. But they also got to realize that, Ashley's in the same boat where, Kathryn was. And I think somebody does mention that. And it seems like she's not healthy too as well. And they do mention that too as well. And I think that they know that there's some drug abuse going on too as well, allegedly, because Thomas has to be shitting bricks right now with these charges and paying out more money to these women. And he already paid off one. Then he has 2 more charges coming at him, ruin his reputation. And Thomas, how he feels about his father, looking up to him. His father feels like he's like the shameful one of the family. I know this is putting more egg on the father's face, with Thomas facing these allegations, but his father knows his son, so this ain't nothing new. So with that being said, Ashley's in a bad place. But you know what? Kathryn feels like she chose to be in that place, and she's not leaving. And there's all the signs. You can watch this show to understand what's going on and how Thomas has played her back and forth. Like, I wonder if she watched these episodes, back before, she did the reunion, because Thomas was really actually like flirting with Kathryn, causing a lot of animosity between them two when it didn't have to happen. But Ashley has made up her bed, and she has to lie in it, and she has to own up to everything, because Thomas could have told her that Kathryn is this, Kathryn is that, whatever, but she didn't have to repeat it. She could have only judged Kathryn on what she saw. But she's like, her sticking around with Thomas, you see how she feels. So peace, I'm out, one love.